Long before the white man came, the brown people tended this land. They lived contentedly for hundreds of years in their spot of heaven just east of Table Bay. In 1652, the white man landed at the foot of Africa. Jan van Riebeeck had been sent by the Dutch East India Company to colonize the Cape of Good Hope. A few years later, frontier farms were established in what is known as the Renosterveld, vegetation of the rhino, which stretched from towns known today as Piketberg in the north to Swellendam in the east. The Renosterveld created a wonderfully fertile environment in which an abundance of flora and fauna flourished. Animals such as wildebeest, zebra, eland, and many more roamed freely through the veld. Colorful flowers and berries adorned the earth, and birds frolicked contentedly on peaceful ponds. Northeast of the Cape Colony, in the heart of the Renosterveld, the early pioneers came upon crescent-shaped hills, boasting bubbling springs of crystal-clear water. These hills soon became a favorite staging post and were named Die Tygerberg. Nestled in Die Tygerberg was a favorite spot that the regulars affectionately called Pompoen's Kraal. It was here that Hendrik and Beatrix Olivier were granted land to start their farm. It was a remarkable time in history. The peace and tranquility were overpowering. Hendrik and Beatrix enjoyed every minute of their new life. They named the farm Clara's Fontein, after Hendrik's mother and the bubbling waters of the spring on the upper pasture. The children had taken to this foreign land as only children can, and every day there was a new adventure to look forward to. Life was not all a bed of roses, and Hendrik worked hard to improve the farm until he died suddenly in 1701. Beatrix decided to continue farming, but life was not easy. The children missed their father terribly and needed constant love and attention. Hendrik had purchased 4 slaves from the Dutch East India Company prior to his death. They were now a great help to Beatrix, and after being granted grazing rights in 1706, she introduced sheep and cattle to the farm. However, even in slaves, passions run high. Unfortunately for Johannes and Sophie, Beatrix saw the two entering their love nest and was furious, as she had laid down strict rules governing their behavior. She screamed to Albertus to rush in, wrest Johannes from Sophie's arms, and bring him to her for punishment. And the punishment was severe. She had him bound hand and foot in chains for 2 years, the pain sometimes unbearable. One day during this time, Beatrix instructed the slaves to light a fire and to fetch Johannes. He had shown no remorse, and there was to be further punishment. Beatrix produced a piece of old iron and instructed Sophie to heat it in the fire. They were to brand Johannes. It was in the winter of 1712 that Anna died. Beatrix had idolized her elder daughter and was totally devastated at her passing. It was then that she decided to change the name of the farm from Clara's Fontein to Clara Anna's Fontein. Bad fortune befell the farm. The farmhouse burnt down and the crops failed that year. Beatrix decided to rebuild the farmhouse and start a brothel to help her worsening financial situation, and also started trading with the Hottentots, both activities strictly against company policy. Inevitably, the Dutch East India Company found out about Beatrix's transgressions, and on that fateful day in 1722, angry company officials arrived at the farm.
En dus nou, jy moet nou maar weggaan van die plasing af, en dus nou het nou gebeur. Daar is nie meer dat kans wat jy nou hier moet bly. En nou is dit probleem joune, is nou my probleem. Nee, jy sien weer wat die bed was.
Beatrix was told to leave her beloved home forever. And there our story ends. But if you visit Pampoenskraal today, you will find Clara Anna Fontein. You will see the birds and the animals, and the spring still bubbles from the upper pasture. And if you look very carefully, you may see Hendrik and Beatrix strolling arm in arm through their garden.
May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls.